I dropped my kid off at preschool the other day, and a mom told me probably the saddest thing I heard all year. It's been a short year, it's only mid January, but still. We were talking about the neighborhood, and she was trying to ask about where I live, and I was trying to describe it to her, and she got confused for a moment, and she thought it was this one house just up the road, and I was like, oh, no. Anyway, she had made this offhanded comment about this house up the road. She says, it's just so sad. Their front yard used to be so beautiful. I was like, oh, it's weird. Like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't want to say anything, but I was like, I kind of think their yard's really pretty now. What do you mean? And she said, oh, it used to just be like really clean, manicured grass that just looked really beautiful. I'm a nice person, so I don't like to get confrontational with people in the preschool drop-off line. Instead, I'll just share my thoughts and feelings on YouTube. That yard, I think, is really gorgeous. Oh, the guy, I talked to him the other day, and he put a lot of time and effort into planning this beautiful diversity of bushes, a lot of natives, in a pleasing manner. There's some that are short and some that are tall, and they kind of flow together. It's really pretty. It flowers really beautifully. There's lots of greenery. There's lots of diversity. There's even some edible plants. He has a couple figs and some hardy kiwis. There's a section of grass still that gets pretty high, but he puts out a sign that says, hey, pardon the weeds, we're feeding the bees. It's still kept. Like, it's not just a overgrown mess. He mulches and he prunes and he weeds. But this lady just thought that a grass lawn was more beautiful than that. I don't blame her. It's been a key part of our society for a long time. In like 1700s, Europe, maybe France, these manicured grass lawns started to become more popular among the wealthy elite. And frankly, I do see the beauty, and especially at the time. This was people with a lot of money, wasting a lot of money, but they were using it as almost an art form to express this control over nature. They could put their staff to work in keeping everything trimmed, keeping everything neat, and keeping everything out except for the grass they wanted. I think if it stayed among the wealthy elite, I'd roll my eyes and I'd be fine with it. But like a lot of things, when the wealthy start doing it, it trickled down. Eventually, the tools became more commonplace. We had like gas-powered lawnmowers, and we didn't need a bunch of servants to trim our grass with clippers for us. So everyone started to live like they saw the wealthy elites living, and everyone started to have a manicured grass lawn. And there's things about it that are just wonderful. I love playing frisbee. I play frisbee every Sunday. You need a lawn to do that in. I love, playing catch with my son and being outside and going to a playground and running around, and you need something that's not woods to do many of these activities. Man, but there's a time and a place. And also, when you remove all of the vegetation except for one Kentucky bluegrass plant that grows everywhere now, you kill a lot more than just other plants. So many beings, birds and squirrels, bugs, native pollinators, they are all dependent on this wide diversity of prairies and forests and meadows. They need this whole diversity of plants, not just bluegrass. So I think his lawn is beautiful in its own right. But it also has this additional beauty of being a safe haven for a wide variety of other beings. I want to change our societal interpretation of beauty. I just hope and I pray sooner rather than later that Americans can change their perception of what it means to have a beautiful front yard. When we divide up and separate by great distances small patches of nature, of forest, or of prairie, or of meadow, and they're separated by wide, long distances of just dead grass and houses and asphalt, it does not make for a healthy environment for anybody. Of course, big predators like wolves, we are very aware that wolves can't really live in Pennsylvania anymore because there's not enough free, massive, ranging ground for them to go hunting in forests. But this separation also harms things like turtles and other creatures who need to travel and need to traverse areas, and turtles especially are so slow for them to cross over a road. Oftentimes means death. We don't have, you know, the massive forests that are in the west coast here on the east. But we can start to create a whole network of mini forests of everybody's front lawn, planting trees and planting shrubs. And sure, you can still manicure them, you can still prune them and take care of them and make them look beautiful. But find beauty in flowers, and beauty in leaves changing color in the fall, and beauty in food for yourself and for other beings, and beauty in a yard that is filled with birds and wonderful insects and native pollinators and turtles and squirrels and all kinds of wonderful animals and beings. That's beauty. That's what I live for. I sell a few trees on my website, lancasterfoodforest.com. A bunch of natives. I'm hoping to soon start selling other natives that aren't necessarily edible, but produce lots of food for important native pollinators and caterpillars and the like. I want us all to have really gorgeous front lawns that maybe have some area of grass to throw a ball with your kid, but also have areas of great diversity so that birds can play and have protection and have food with their kids as well.